Hey everybody, that was Leonard doing a rendition of Don't Let Me Down by the Beatles, kind of inspired by that song for sure. And I just stumbled on this watching a demo of the Quilter Labs Superblock US. Obviously it sounds great because they had Leonard do this demo and he went through a bunch of different kind of sounds, and I just loved his right hand funkiness. There's just so many little things that I loved that he did. So made the animation to try to demystify kind of what's going on there. And my goal here is to just take riffs that sound crazy and kind of unapproachable and just like whoa, and break them down phrase by phrase and help you and help myself to just take elements of these things and incorporate them into our own playing. And mixing in the fingers there, right? You know. This is kind of palm muted, and that's pulling hard with my nail. So that's something to experiment with. So we're just gonna take this one phrase by phrase, see what's going on, talk about some of the techniques, some of the stylistic elements going on, some of the things with the left hand, with the right hand, and then we're gonna try to, develop these little motifs, these little ideas to make them our own, okay? So as always, for the Pow Music patrons, there's also just traditional tab numbers on the lines with notation at the top that you could download to go along with this lesson. All right, let's get into it. Now, even though I'm gonna go over all the phrases more slowly, what you could do as you approach trying to play along with this or trying to play along with specific phrases is take advantage of the playback speed control feature here on YouTube. It's that little gear icon on the bottom of the screen. Click that, playback speed, 50%, 75%, that's what I do. All right, let's get into it. So the song's in E. So we start with this classic kind of rake where we mute the strings and we just strum from the top to the bottom, but then we play the E string and slide it down. And then play the open E. Kind of reminds me of Little Wing with the... You can just mute those strings with your hand, but then actually play the low E string. Then he plays that opening riff. And that is in the E major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Now off the bat, he's adding in some palm muting, just putting your palm right where the bridge meets the string, and mixing in palm muted sounds with notes ringing out. Right? That's just going to give it a little more punch, a little more of a percussive sound. You could experiment with, palm muting all of it, palm muting some of it. Then he does the rake again. Then we've got the... Don't let me down. Right? But he's harmonizing that line with sixths, or really thirds below the fundamental note. So this note, if we play the third but below it, we get this note. Same fret on the G string, right? So in this case, G sharp and B. So, and then we do the same thing. Don't let, now we have a major third, me, on the E. Don't let me. So formula for that minor third below is on the same fret, and major third is right there. Now, just without going any further, you should practice going through a whole key playing these thirds, but really we think of them as sixths, because if we think of this note even though in relation to the E, it is the third, the notes are a sixth apart. So this is a really popular guitar interval because it sounds really good on the guitar and it's easy to play. So if you know the key, we've got a major chord, then a minor, then a minor, then a major, then a major, then a minor, then a diminished but still a minor third, back up to the root. Cool. So right there, you got something to work with, right? And that's don't let me, but he's making it funky. Don't let me. So one way to make something funky is make it staccato, make the notes short. So instead of, so just lifting the pressure off the string without taking your hand off. Now to play these sixths, you just mute all the adjacent strings. So, you know, mute the B string, mute the G string with the flesh of these fingertips. And he's doing all down strums, a little more funky. Then when he lands on the F sharp minor, the 2 chord in the key of E, he does something really unique, which is he plays the entire chord thumb over. So he does thumb, ring, pinky, index. I find that really hard. I could do it, but I rather skip over the A string, which is kind of like what Hendrix would do, and just go root, octave with the ring finger, and then index finger. Now if that's hard too, you can just go like this, or like this. So you could go, right? Now, being he's already kind of in this position, the thumb over does kind of help, especially when you get into the into those riffs. So experiment with that thumb over. You just want to kind of get the crease of your thumb right over there and just pull back a little bit. It takes very little pressure to actually get the note to ring out. If you put too much pressure, the note's going to go sharp, and if you push down, it's going to go sharp. So it could be hard to get good intonation with the thumb over, but just takes practice. So first he hits the low notes, then up strums the high notes. Practice kind of playing low, and then high, and then muting. And then he goes. Then he does his little pentatonic. And here he's just running up this interval of a third, from the third to the fifth, up a whole step. And then kind of down the pentatonic again. So in slow motion. And again, take one of these riffs and just I'm going to turn it into a reggae. Just really develop it. Play around with the rhythm. Then next time you play a minor chord that looks like this, you'll be more inclined to go, all right? It's the act of actually developing it and playing around with it is what's going to get it into your vocabulary. Now, he actually skips half a beat here, which kind of threw off my groove a little bit, but he was just testing a product, so we're not going to hold it against him. But then he goes back to the... That time, instead of going just, he goes, right? So we're just going to do a quick slide and backslide on that second fret double stop. And then the E. Now if you actually play the full, that's fine too. Then he plays an E and hammers on that note, which is very bluesy. That's the major third, hammering on from a minor third to a major third. So and then plays an up strum. Then this sweet lick. This is probably my favorite part. So here he actually adds half a beat, which, again, this might be intentional. It's cool because it kind of grabs your ear like, whoa, what just happened there? But it's cool. I really like it. So it just makes it a little less intuitive, the whole phrase. So that whole thing goes... So what we got there, this is one of my favorite things to do. This is pattern 4 of the E major pentatonic scale. You want to really know that one like the back of your hand. If you're trying to just figure out how to master pentatonics on the fretboard, check out my 2.5 shapes video. It's kind of like the 80-20 rule. These 2.5 shapes will give you 80% of the riffs and the results. But the 20% of the other shapes is magic. So for instance, this is pattern 4. But then we have this in pattern 3. This nice little, what I call a 3x2. So then the video that you're going to watch after that is on the 2x2 method, where we talk about these 2x2 and 3x2 boxes that connect. So anyway, he does that here, and it sounds really great. So he starts here. All right, everybody. So if you want to go in depth in the entire clip, just like I did with the first portion, check out the rest of the lesson for Pow Music patrons at patreon.com/powmusic. The direct link to that video is in the description. If you join up there, you could join me for twice weekly, live small group video lessons. It's a great little community. We all hang out on camera. We explore recent lessons on the channel, or anything you're working on. Sometimes if people just want to watch, I'll lead a lesson on something I'm excited to show you. And the link for that is in the description. If you really want to understand what these numbers on the screen are with the intervals and the thirds and the fifths and the flat thirds and all this stuff, check out my Fret Live Fretboard Mastery program. There's 2 versions. There's one that's live with 40 other students where you share your work and you work on a different unit each week, and there's live lessons to go along with it. And then there's also a self-paced edition, which is half the price, but you don't get that kind of college live experience and the accountability and the feedback that goes along with that. But it's a jam-packed course. There's hours of Fret Live videos just like this in a very sequential way, taking you from the very beginning of the building blocks of music, the chromatic scale, the 12 notes we have, how they're laid out on the fretboard, then looking at those notes as intervals, putting those intervals together to create a key, to create scales, to create chords, and each step of the way, there's song lessons that line up with the topic of the week, so you could apply what you're learning, and there's a creative activity, so you could actually create something using the concept. So I'll put a link to that in the description. Happy playing, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Hey Leah, I'm bad at telling people that they should subscribe and like. Can you do all that for me?
Sure. All right.
Powmusic is the name of my channel.
Okay. Thanks for watching this video on Powmusic. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down in the description. I hope you had a great rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. I just want to take a quick moment to thank the following upper tier Powmusic patrons: Jake Martin, Jeff Bellestein, Blake Patsy, Scott Lee, Randy Wallingford, Lemuel Faustin, Donald James Grass, Noah Brand, Steve Pisano, Trampus Thompson, Andrew Vogel, John Cushman, Chris Watts, Arwin Guzen, Derek Mickle, Sean Ellis, Joseph McCarthy, and Don Stringham. Thank you guys so much for your ongoing support. Thank you to all the Powmusic patrons. Happy playing, and I'll see you guys next time.